Let's say you've got a few $1 million you're not exactly eager to explain to a tax auditor. Maybe you inherited it from a business venture. Maybe you didn't. Either way, you can't just wire it to a normal bank and call it a day. So, where does it go? It goes offshore. And once you see how many ways there are to make money disappear, you'll never look at a tropical island the same way again. Let's start with the classic, the shell company. Picture a company that exists and purely on paper. No employees, no office, no actual business happening anywhere. Just a name, an address, and a bank account. Usually set up in a place like the British Virgin Islands or the Cayman Islands. You can create one of these for a few $100s. And the best part, the real owner's name almost never has to appear anywhere public. So, when someone tries to trace the money, they hit a company owned by another company, owned by a trust, managed by a lawyer who legally can't talk about it. So that's not an accident. That's the whole design. Next up, the offshore bank account. Countries like Switzerland and Singapore built entire reputations on keeping their mouths shut. Strict secrecy laws mean your account balance, your name, your transactions, none of it gets shared easily, even if your home country comes asking. Governments have cracked down hard in the last decade, but the loopholes just moved. They didn't disappear. Then there's the trust. This one sounds boring, and that's exactly why it works. A trust is a legal arrangement where you technically don't own your own assets anymore. A trustee does, on your behalf. Sounds like you're giving up control, right? Except you can still quietly benefit from everything inside it. On paper, you own nothing. In reality, you're still living off it. Now, here's where it gets almost funny. Real estate. Buy a luxury apartment in London or Miami through one of those shell companies we just talked about. Nobody asks hard questions about a real estate purchase the way they'd question a wire transfer. Hold the property for a while, sell it, and suddenly your dirty money comes back as a perfectly legitimate profit from a property deal. This is a huge reason so many cities have entire skylines of luxury apartments that sit empty. Nobody's living there. They're just holding value for someone who'd rather not be found. Art works almost the same way, except somehow it's even less regulated. A painting sells for $40 million at auctions, and here's the thing. Nobody's verifying that it's actually worth that. Nobody's requiring you to disclose where the money came from. You buy, you hold, you sell. Clean income, and you got to stare at a nice painting while you waited. Cryptocurrency deserves its own mention here because it took every old school offshore trick and gave it a digital upgrade. Move funds through multiple wallets across multiple exchanges in multiple countries, and you've built the same kind of untraceable maze as a shell company, except now it happens in seconds instead of months. And then there's the method that barely gets talked about. Insurance policies. Criminals buy expensive life insurance policies, overpay the premiums on purpose, then cancel early and collect a refund. Congratulations! Your dirty cash just came back to you, labeled as an insurance payout. So how much money are we actually talking about here? Estimates put the amount of wealth sitting in offshore accounts worldwide somewhere in the trillions. Trillions. Sitting in places specifically designed so nobody can prove who it belongs to. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Every single one of these methods is technically legal, right up until the money behind it is proven to be dirty. And proving that is exactly what these systems are built to prevent. Layer enough shell companies, trusts, and offshore accounts on top of each other, and even trained investigators eventually just give up. So next time you see a headline about a billionaire's offshore holdings, remember, it's not always about avoiding a little tax. Sometimes it's the last stop in a very long, very deliberate journey to make dirty money disappear completely.